Welcome back. I'm Frank, also known as Dear Crabby. And as always, if you've got any question that you want to send out to me, feel free to send it to dearcrabby9@gmail.com. You can also telephone me at 312-725-9973, and I will get a transcript just the same. But I got to tell you, folks, I am not a psychologist nor a psychiatrist. I've never played one on TV, and at this stage of my life, at this age, I'll probably never be one, but I'm more than willing to try to be a sounding board for you and try to offer some helpful advice when and where I can. So we've got someone writing in today, folks, and I've titled this one, Old Friends Need to Make Way for New Boyfriends. So it reads like this. It says, Dear Crabby, my boyfriend and I are going to LA to celebrate my birthday with my best friend and her boyfriend. My other friend is supposed to be joining us, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea for her to go. You see, last New Year's, we all got together and ended up coming, but the whole time she went away pouting because she was the only single person there. My boyfriend and I didn't even kiss or hold hands the whole night, but despite our efforts to make her feel comfortable, she still didn't have a good time. It's going to be the same group of people. I want her to come, but not if I'm going to feel like I'm walking on eggshells and be wondering if she's having fun the whole time. But if I tell her not to come, I'll feel guilty. What should I do? I feel selfish, but it's my birthday and also a vacation, and I don't want to feel like that on the whole trip. What would be the best way so that I don't feel comfortable, so that I don't feel uncomfortable and she does not get hurt? Well, it sounds like you're really a good friend and you've given her a lot of slack in this whole situation. But I think she needs to know that this is more of a couples type thing. And if she doesn't already, and that would give her a little bit of time to maybe find a friend that could come as well with her. But I'd really stress that, this is not something we're kind of beyond the single friend type thing. And everybody goes through this, they always have friends that are still single for whatever reason. Maybe they want to be, and they always feel like the odd person out. Well, I think you've just got to stress to her that things are changing. Everybody's got boyfriends, girlfriends, all this kind of thing. And to really have fun at this thing, that might be a good idea. She's free to come. You can tell her that, she's more than welcome to come, but it's really going to be a couples event. And I think that might lay the groundwork in a very delicate way that would work out nicely for you both. So the other question that I got in, folks, is where there are cold feet, excuses are sure to follow. And she says, Dear Frank, also known as Dear Crabby, I'm really in a bind and I hope you can offer some advice. My boyfriend and I have been together for just over a year. That's great. About month 5, he started telling me that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. We live in different cities. That's complicated. But from May through August, I was able to move to his city about 3 hours away during my summer vacation. Within just a few weeks of my arrival there, he began talking about marriage constantly, and I assumed, and he said as much, that a commitment was forthcoming. Then the first week of August, he suddenly told me that he didn't feel ready for such a commitment. He didn't offer a whole lot of explanation except to say that he did not think we were ready to be engaged because I apparently don't trust him fully. He said this because I think he spends too much time with his female friends. I do trust him. I know he loves me and wouldn't cheat on me, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. I returned to my own city as scheduled a few weeks ago because of various obligations. Beginning in December, I will be looking for a permanent job. I graduate college in December, she says. He wants me to search for a job in his city so that we can be closer. He thinks that being in the same city will help our relationship. While I agree with him, and do think it would be a good idea for our relationship, I can't help feeling that it's a bit unfair. I feel like he wants me to make sacrifices for him when he's unwilling to make any sacrifices for me. She lists here, for example, spending a bit less time with his female friends or making a commitment. I've tried talking to him about this, but he doesn't understand. Frank, I really love him with all my heart, and I want to spend the rest of my life with this man, but I just can't help feeling like he's being unfair. What should I do? Well, I think you're right to feel that way. It seems to me like he's trying to have it both ways, right? He's wanting a commitment from you, and then he suddenly told you that he didn't feel ready for such a commitment, and you say here that he didn't give you a lot of explanation except to say that he didn't think you were ready to become engaged because you don't apparently trust him fully. That seems a little bit weird because I don't think that there's any reason that he should not trust you fully at this stage. So I don't know where he's coming from, but I can say that the time that he spends with his female friends is problematic in this relationship, and I think he needs to confront that. And, quite honestly, just be fair and say, maybe it's typical for me to feel this way, but I don't think you should be spending as much time with your female friends. And I'm ready to engage on that long journey, whatever that might be and wherever it might take you. But he needs to understand that you should be the focus and not so much his female friends. And when you bring it up, it shouldn't be something that is just a blockade to him. Whenever you bring that up, it seems like he just kind of stiffens up and backs off, and he gets mad and doesn't think that you're ready for the commitment. And he's the one actually that's illustrating that he may not be truthfully ready for the commitment. So I think that a good conversation is in order here to kind of work that out. But you're probably a good judge of character. And if you think he's worth it, you can stick with it and try to work this thing out. So here we've got one that's saying smart, educated, and frozen stiff with shyness. So this person is writing in to say, I'm a social director for a singles group and have encountered a member who wants to partake in the activities but is having difficulty in overcoming his fear, or his opinion, she says, of group activities. I speak with him often through emails and trying to convince him that the members are incredibly friendly, but I'm really struggling with how to get him to come out of his shell. He wants to be active, and it's obvious he feels he has lost touch with being able to communicate with others around. I find this amazing because he's extremely articulate, has a wonderful sense of humor, and very educated, and has all the qualities that any single woman would love to be around or find in a companion. How do I assist him in overcoming his shyness and fear of being in groups? Well, I think that in this situation, everybody's a little bit different. He's willing to partake in this whole activity sort of thing that you've got planned. And he's kind of illustrating to you that he needs help because he's got difficulty overcoming his fear. For whatever reason, this is a big blockade for him. So, the approach in this situation might be to say, hey, look, I understand where you're coming from. Why don't you come early, help us set up, and just understand that he doesn't need to be participating all the time. In other words, let him come in early, get familiar with everything, let him help you get things set up or whatnot, and just become familiar with the surroundings. And just let him kind of hang in there, sort of lurk for a little bit and accommodate his shyness and just slowly sort of bring him out of his shell. And afterwards say, what did you think? That was a lot of fun. I hope you can do this again, and just kind of keep working on him. And maybe the next time, find out if he can be a little bit more involved. And if he doesn't want to, give him another session. In other words, just kind of work with him through this whole situation. He's got a lot of things that he can add. He's articulate. He's got a wonderful sense of humor. He's very educated. Let him know that there are people who would value his input and, would find him great to be around. And when he's ready to just kind of add in a little bit and join in the conversation, that he's more than welcome. So, folks, I want to thank you for joining me here at Dear Crabby. And as always, I keep repeating this. I hope you don't get mad, but you can always send me an email at dearcrabby9@gmail.com or phone me at 312-725-9973. I want to thank you for listening to the show, and we'll have more coming up. Till then.